IVM.
$100. That's all it takes to begin your journey with Bitcoin and Ethereum. No, really. With CoinSwitch, you can start investing in over 100 cryptocurrencies with just 100 rupees. On top of that, there are zero charges for deposits and withdrawals, so you can trade, buy, sell, however and whenever you want. All of this, plus their extremely intuitive interface, makes CoinSwitch the perfect app for beginners in the crypto space. But don't take my word for it. Just download CoinSwitch for free and try it out for yourself. If you'd like more information on cryptocurrencies, tune into A Show About Crypto with me, Rohan Joshi, my new adventure on IVM podcasts. CoinSwitch, kuch to badlega.
All right, welcome to another episode of IVM Likes. I'm your host Antariksh. Joining me is my friend and co-worker and co-producer is Sumit Pande. Sumit, what is happening, bro?
All good, bro. All good. Work is going on.
I think I called you Bo by mistake instead of bro. And I was like, okay, that's a little bit. Yeah, you heard
it's
it, right?
Fine.
Yeah.
It's
Bo
fine.
is
I on this show, actually, I made a lot of word mistakes than you.
Oh, okay.
So
then it's fine. Then I don't feel as bad.
We are even.
Okay, cool. Chalo, take care. It's not a competition, but okay. But if there is a competition, I'm sure I've effed up more than you, man, in speech because it's just how things go here in my world. We are talking about one of our favorite things in this world, anime. And in anime, we're talking about one of our favorite things in anime, which is the show My Hero Academia. I don't know how many of you are aware of this show. If you are not, this podcast will be to get you somewhat caught up on what is happening in that show and why you should be watching or reading the manga/anime. So that'll be a lot of fun. My Hero Academia, Boku No Hero Academia in Japanese, if you want to go by the by the Japanese title of the show. So that's coming up in this episode. We'll be right back after this very short break.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Pesa Vesa with Anupam Gupta, Avinash Luthria, advice-only financial planner, and Sebi RII at Fiduciaries address the common mistakes that financial planners make while giving out advice. On Storytellers and Storysellers with Vineet, podcaster Nikesh Murali shares what goes into making a high-quality horror podcast. Learn how micro-meditations can help elevate our work on Smarter with Sid. On our Kannada podcast, Thale Harate, Ganesh and Surya talk to Sandhya Rani, the award-winning writer of Kannada movie Nati Charamani that's based on female desires and consent. And on Smile India, Shifa Mehta tells us a fascinating story behind India's first female railway announcer. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week on the network, Ciet Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quarter, CoinSwitch Kuber, and Intuit India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
All right, and we are back. Sumit, are you a fan of My Hero Academia? I know you are because that's why I got you on the show. But since when have you been watching it, man?
My Hero Academia, I got it from you only. So
cool.
Antariksh is the one who has suggested me this show. Okay.
Yes, it's spreading the love, man. Spreading the love.
Yeah. Also, one of my friend's friend has recommended this show. Okay. So like around the suggestion and recommendation happened at the same time only. So
yeah, but who recommended it first, Sumit? Who recommended it first?
Then friends of friends.
Oh yeah,
then you at the same time.
Oh, same time, like at the same time.
Yeah, like 1-2 दिन का difference रहता है ना, bro.
Oh, अच्छा. ठीक है. चलो ठीक है. Wow, that got me, man. I'm on to you.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name?
Shit, I forgot.
Wow, you don't even remember the friend. He's not a friend. Who is this random?
He's
stranger?
friend of friend.
Friend of friend.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
some Christian
some loser.
named Martin or something. Something is like
not important enough in your life, man. It's fine. Who knows?
So yeah. So he recommended to me and my roommate. We started watching it. Like first episode, we remember it was quite good, but quite you can say childish. Okay, it started off with very cartoony theme, and I wanted to watch something because I was into series before that.
Yeah.
And after Death Note, I haven't watched any of the anime. So I say. And My Hero Academia, after I got the recommendation from you, I said let's give this a try. First episode went like okay, yeah, we can watch this. Then after after what happens in the series. Like, so would you explain the plot of the story, or should I do that?
Sure. No, absolutely. Let's get into the plot. I want to get into the plot. We have a lot to talk about
Okay.
on the show. We're gonna cover everything. And so basically, how I started the show though was after One Punch Man. One Punch Man came out in I think 2012 or 2013, and immediately I was like, oh man, this is great. It was a very unique take on the superhero formula kind of thing, where in One Punch Man, if you guys don't know, spoiler alert, he is already the strongest person that exists, right? So he's like kind of bored, and it's like a completely very unique take on the superhero, basically superhero formula, superhero culture, as you want, whatever you want to call it. And so after One Punch Man ended, it was only 12 episodes. Second season came out like months later, like quite a few years later, just like last year or last year or something, it came out. And after One Punch Man, I was like starved for more anime in that genre. I was like, okay, what do you want to watch? What should I watch? What should I watch? And then I heard there's a new anime coming out called My Hero Academia or Boku No Hero Academia. And I was like, oh, this looks good. So I started watching it since episode 1. And I've been following it ever since, dude. So just very happy that still going so good and became like the huge thing that it became. But I was just watching it because I wanted to watch superheroes more in anime form. In a sense, though, like all anime are kind of like superhero kind of like shows. Like more, at least the shonen kind of shows that we like, because like Naruto is kind of like it's basically like a superhero. Bleach is kind of like the same thing. One Piece is pirates, not really superhero, but there are like heroes, anti-heroes. Actually, a lot more anti-heroes in One Piece.
So yeah, that's in conclusion, we can say you like the superhero genre more.
Yeah, I'm a fan, dude. I'm a fan of comic books, the DC, Marvel, DC more comics. Yeah, but yeah, dude, I'm a fan. I love this shit.
So how did you get into the manga thing? Okay, the manga version of this show.
So I've been reading manga for a while. Like there are some shows where, like for instance, One Piece is one of my favorite anime. My favorite mangas. I don't watch the anime. That's the thing. So I've been reading only the manga. So I've been a manga reader for a while, and One Piece is like going on for the last 24 years or something now. It's crazy. And so I was already open to the idea of reading manga, and I read comics as well. So what happened? I think I finished season 2 of My Hero. So season 1 came out, and I watched the entire thing, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll wait for season 2 because the animation was so good. Like the fight sequences are so well animated, and it's so great, and it's very fast paced, and yeah, it's very, very well done. So I was like, okay, cool. I will wait for the second season, and I did. But then after the second season ended, we'll get to it. But after the stain thing, right, the killer, I think just after that, somewhere around there is when the second season ends. And I was like, oh, dude, I can't, man, I can't wait. So then I started reading the manga. But then that's also still difficult, man, because now I'm up to date on the manga also. So now what do I do? It's like I can't get in the mind of the creator. So let's get into this. Let's get into what the show is about, what the story is, why we love everything about the show, what the amazing characters, the amazing side characters, character relationships. Power scaling in the show is so well done. That's a lot of fun as well. And let's start with, this show is created by a person named Kohei Horikoshi. Okay, he is a Japanese mangaka. He's a Japanese manga artist, and it releases in Shonen Jump is the magazine that it comes out in. It's a shonen anime. Shonen anime is like long form anime, mostly action oriented, geared towards younger audiences, but people of all ages basically watch it. That's basically what shonen ends up being. The story of the show, and Sumit will help me with this as we tell you the story of the show, is firstly, we should say again, there will be some spoilers. Of course, there will be some spoilers on the show. So you've been warned. If you're already a fan of My Hero Academia, welcome. Glad you're listening to us, and let us know if you enjoy the show, enjoy this episode, and we will do more of these because this is something I can talk about for basically like endlessly for till eternity.
But more importantly, if you haven't watched the show, okay, so listen this episode as a primer.
Yeah,
okay?
as a primer.
You'll get to know like what kind of why is it so beautifully crafted.
Yeah,
we'll talk about everything, and you decide. It's up to you, like watch it or not.
Yeah, correct, exactly. So the story of the show, is that there is, in this universe, basically in this world, in the My Hero Academia world, about 90. So everyone is born at this point with a superhero gene. It's called a quirk. The superpowers in this universe are called quirks. Okay, everyone is basically born with a quirk. Like I think that the percentage is like some 90, above 90%, like 95%, 97% or something of the population is born with quirks. Okay, and heroes are a regular thing in this universe. There are people who have licenses to be heroes and practice
It's a
heroism.
profession for many
It's a
people.
profession. Yeah, there are organizations of heroes. There are businesses that are around heroes and hero culture, and heroes are basically worshipped in this universe. Okay, and heroes exist. Everyone has quirks, but there are only some people who are heroes, and some people, regular civilians, who just have quirks and do nothing with it, basically. Okay, I mean, I'm sure they use it in their everyday life, but that's a conversation for another day. But there is one child who is born quirkless. Okay. There are a lot of people, I'm sure, who are born quirkless as well, again, but we are introduced to this one child. His name is Midoriya. Okay. Midoriya is
Izuku.
Izuku Midoriya is a child, and his entire dream is to become a hero. Okay. Like, oh, okay. Before that, and in this world exists basically a beacon of light, of justice, the symbol of justice, he is called. His name is All Might. He is the superhero of superheroes, basically. He's like Superman and like all the inspirational heroes you can think of, Superman and a little bit of Thor, even, if you think about it. Yeah, he's like this super buff dude with like super long eyebrowish hair, which kind of looks like eyebrows, kind of looks like hair. There's a super like buff dude who is supremely loved by the population, and everyone loves him. He is world's number one hero. Okay, he is considered to be the number one hero in the world, and literally the symbol of peace is what they call him, right? Symbol of peace or symbol of justice?
Yeah.
Symbol of peace.
No, symbol of peace.
They call him the symbol of peace. So that's why Sumit is here to help me out with these facts. And his name is All Might. And Izuku Midoriya adores All Might. Okay, a lot of children in this era do. A lot of people do. But Izuku is like a diehard fan of heroes in general, but All Might in particular, he is like too obsessed. Okay, and his entire dream is to be a hero like All Might, and to always be smiling and to inspire people with his smile and his confidence, and to make people feel safe. That's his entire dream. Okay, he wants to be the world's greatest hero, is what Izuku Midoriya wants to be. But he finds out through a doctor that he is basically quirkless. Okay, and he can't basically do anything, and his entire dreams are shattered. So he's like, oh man, now what, right? And he goes to school. The years go by, and he's now into teenage years, and he is still obsessed with heroes and still obsessed with All Might, and still wants to follow his dream of becoming a hero. But he's still quirkless, and he's looked down upon by his classmates and everything. And one classmate in particular, who is very important and becomes even more prominent later on in the story, is Bakugo. And he is my favorite character, man. We'll get to the characters later, but Bakugo is this badass character.
Also,
who has
Bakugo is a childhood friend of Midoriya Izuku.
Yeah, so basically they went to
Like,
school together, and basically one fine day, Izuku is just walking down the road and he's attacked by a villain. Okay, and he gets rescued by happenstance by All Might. He's rescued by All Might, and while All Might is jumping away, Izuku basically just holds on to him because he has a question he wants to ask All Might, and All Might finally notices that Izuku is holding on to his body as he's jumping around, and stops on a roof and says like, so what do you want? And Izuku asks him that, hey, so I'm basically quirkless, but I want to be a hero like you. Can I be a hero? And All Might tells him, no, you cannot. It's just, sorry, buddy, not gonna happen. You're quirkless. You're basically just a regular dude. Just not gonna become a hero. And he's very sad, and he's like, oh man, this is my dream, and it's shattered. And All Might like, sorry, buddy, but it's got to hear it. The hard truth is this, that you cannot be a hero. So he's going back home, and on the way, the same villain who had attacked Izuku earlier has escaped from All Might's grasp and basically starts attacking Izuku's bully, Bakugo. And nobody is reacting because heroes haven't come around yet. The only other hero on the scene is a depowered All Might. Why he is depowered, again, we will get to. Very interesting story again. But a depowered All Might is the only one in this scene, and nobody can basically help Bakugo because the other heroes haven't arrived yet. And seeing that nobody is going
I
stepping
think
forward.
Almighty gets damaged or something like that by that villain, right?
Yeah, correct. Oh yeah, so let's get to that only then. All Might has this super buff dude that we've been painting the picture of, the guy with golden hair, always smiling, is actually the All Might persona that this person has. Okay, that All Might has. He has a muscle form and a non-muscle, like a regular dude form, in which he's like super lanky and stuff. His muscle form he's able to be in less and less because he, before the story starts, he had gotten an injury from a previous battle. We find out later who that person was that gave him that injury, but he basically had an injury because of which he is basically not as strong as he used to be because it's basically like killing him from inside, but slowly. Okay, it's basically like, yeah, it's not good for his body. So yeah, he's also basically dying. He has a while to go, and he can probably survive a very long time because he's All Might, but he's still basically dying and not as strong, definitely not as strong as he used to be. So basically, what that means is he'll be able to save less and less people, despite being symbol of peace. Able to save less and less people because, well, he just can't. And while Izuku and All Might are talking to each other, Bakugo gets attacked, and they hear the screams of, okay, someone is being attacked, and All Might rushes away. But he reaches there, and he's basically depowered. He's not in the best condition because the time limit that he has for that day has basically run out in a way. And so Izuku is also there on the scene, and seeing that nobody else is stepping forward, he rushes without any care for his own, basically his own safety. He rushes
his own life.
He rushes the villain and Bakugo to save Bakugo from the villain, and immediately gets attacked again. But seeing this guy's resolve inspires All Might to basically go, and this is where I think the first time we hear the catchphrase going plus ultra. Okay, go beyond plus ultra. That's the whole theme of the show, is go beyond plus ultra. All Might basically catches the villain again and saves the day, basically. But so inspired by all of this, Izuku, after this whole ordeal, is returning back home and still sad about what All Might said to him.
That he
about
couldn't get the power.
He couldn't. No, that he can't become a hero.
Yeah.
He was still sad about that he doesn't have a power. And All Might comes to him. He just shows up, All Might. And this guy's like, oh, hey, All Might. Hey, man, sorry about that last thing that I just attacked that villain dude. And All Might's like, no, man, you inspired me. So you can become a hero. Like immediately, like very emotional, starts crying. And All Might says, you can become a hero because you will get my power. Basically, I will give you my power. And so then we find out that so this is basically the first episode premise that I've set down. Okay. Now what that power is, again, we'll talk about a little bit more. We're going to talk about what My Hero Academia is. Okay, so I think we should cover the next episode also. I think the first episode is done. The next episode, we should cover that. So All Might has this power called One for All, okay? Which has been passed down from person to person and currently resides in All Might, this power. And he has decided to pass this on to his successor. He wants his successor to be Izuku Midoriya because Izuku Midoriya basically inspired him, right? The power All for One is, it's basically like a power quirk, like a strong strength quirk that makes you really strong in, basically like physically very strong, to the point where All Might has become the strongest superhero, maybe who has ever lived, or definitely in the current, like whatever, amongst his peers, right? And he passes this quirk on to Midoriya. Basically, Midoriya has to train to get his body ready to be able to receive the quirk. There's a whole thing around that. It's quite funny, quite inspiring even. Which a lot of the show is very inspirational. But then basically the show, My Hero Academia, is about this guy then joins UA High School, which is the number one hero school. Basically, if you want to become a hero, the best school to join is UA High School, because again, heroes are so widely accepted that there's a school to train you how to become a hero, how to save people, how to learn how to use your
Minimize
quirk
the
properly.
damage and
Yeah.
take a different strategy. How to
Yeah,
be
exactly.
friends
All of
and
that.
stuff
All of
like
that. Exactly. It's all like not scientific, but it's all like well thought out and all in this show. But yeah, so basically the story is him attending UA High School to become the greatest, world's number one hero. That's the story, and that's how every episode starts. He's like, this is my story. This is how I became the world's number one hero. So yeah, that's basically the mota premise. There are so many characters, and so he joins a class. The class he joins is Sumit. Go ahead, please describe the class members.
So basically, he joins a class called like 1A. Okay?
Class
That's
1A.
the
Yeah.
class 1A. Yes.
Yeah.
So he joins a class of 20, and now his bully Bakugo also is in same class.
So 20
okay?
students plus teachers, it says.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they all join in, and they all have different unique quirks. Okay.
Yeah.
So this guy Izuku Midoriya is he's a very little shy guy, normal, less of a like very simple life, very down to earth kind of personality. He joins the class. He become friends with 2 or 3 people. Then he starts knowing people. Okay, and he has a very nice habit of noting down things. Okay.
Yeah, he has like a diary that he maintains.
Exactly.
Yeah, which
He
is like
makes
every
a-
hero's like quirk and like their strengths and like weaknesses. He analyzes how they fight and stuff. Like very, very like meticulous about this stuff.
very technical.
Yeah, he's like a
person.
nerd. He's
Like,
basically like a nerd. Yeah. He's like a fan of. So he's also like your eyes into this world, where he's like, oh man, it's like, oh, a superhero is going by. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, I'm gonna note down this cool stuff and all about this. So basically, yeah, he's like a nerd. Yeah.
So he does that with all of his classmates as well. He starts noticing out. So within a course of time, people will see kind of there are tournaments, there are training sessions.
Yeah.
Where he learn different things with different people.
So
Okay,
like
and he
yeah, so I wanted to talk about the characters of his classmates. Class 1A basically is headed by a classroom teacher. Basically, their class teacher is
Eraserhead though.
Razorhead. Yeah. Oh man, that's what a cool character, dude. Razorhead. He has the quirk to make others' quirks quirkless. Basically, make others' quirks not act up. Basically, if he's looking at you,
he can erase.
he can erase your
erase
quirk.
with
He's
his-
called Eraserhead. Yeah.
Erase your quirk.
Yeah, his name is basically Razorhead. Damn cool character.
Why is it damn cool? I'll also
Also,
add a point.
I like with these names, I sound like I don't watch the show and I've only seen it like once. But no, I swear to God, this is one of my favorite shows. I watch it all the time.
Aizawa.
Yeah,
I think
Aizawa Sensei. Yeah.
Aizawa Sensei.
Aizawa Sensei.
Why is he so cool teacher?
Yeah.
Is because every time he comes in a class,
Yeah.
he carries his sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And
Basically,
whenever
like- whenever he can, he
When-
catches a nap, he starts sleeping and all. Because
he's just
he's always sleepy and tired, basically. Because that's just his nature, I guess. Yeah.
but seriously, amazing character. He's a kind of a good, like a portrayal of a great teacher.
Yeah. He's
How-
like tough
how
love.
it is.
You know, like someone who gives you tough love and like, but really like stands by students and protects the students whenever needed. And dude, he's badass, dude. Just so there is, I don't know if you know this, Sumit. Okay, I don't know how I've never talked about this, dude. Okay, that is something I can recommend later on this show because it'll go really well with it. But Sumit, did you know that My Hero Academia has a parallel manga called My Hero Academia Vigilantes?
No.
Okay, cool.
What is it about?
My Hero Academia Vigilantes is basically a story based in the same universe. Officially, okay, it's siphoned, sanctioned from Kohei Horikoshi. Basically, they they have like a proper writing team, and basically they consult Horikoshi about where the story is supposed to go and all that. Okay, and it basically is about vigilantes. And vigilantes are people who want to be heroes, but they aren't really like they don't have the hero license, like how Batman is in like DC universe. We have Vigilantes. We don't really have like
Correct.
licensed heroes. So it's about Vigilantes, and it's really cool, man, that show. And on that, dude, Aizawa has a big part in that show. Not show, sorry, in that manga. It's not been given an anime adaptation yet, but I hope it happens soon, man, because it's really good. Story is really good. And so Aizawa has a big part to play in that. You find out a lot more about his relationship with Mike, who's a Mike superhero, the guy who talks really loud.
Yeah. I really forgot his name.
Yeah, but guys, don't mind us for the names. There's a Mike guy.
There's a Mike guy. Okay, so there are too many characters. You'll be
too many
introduced
characters.
with too many characters. Okay,
Yeah, you can't.
But there will be a small kind of. So this is
So
what
you
I
will
have
basically
felt.
you will love all these characters. Okay, you will fall in
Yeah.
love with all these characters, and all of them are great. But sometimes you just can't remember the names off the top of your head, dude. There's so many names to remember. But you know all of them. You don't get confused.
But
ever.
you remember their quirk.
You remember their quirk. You remember
That's
their
for sure.
costumes. You remember everything, dude. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you find out Aizawa has a big role to play in that show, and yeah, it's a very cool. I keep saying show manga, but yeah, check that out also. So My Hero Academia, Vigilantes. Anyway, coming back to My Hero Academia, so their classroom teacher is Aizawa, he's Eraserhead. His superhero name is Eraserhead. That's what he goes by, and then his classmates, other superheroes heroes they have as teachers as well. And All Might has also joined this school as a teacher this particular year, like onwards. He is now a teacher as well. And their other classmates are like a bunch of great characters. I love all their classmates so much. Each of them brings their own little like quirks, superpower related, and also like just general quirky people. Like for instance, there are like great characters in the show. There is one Shoto Todoroki, and he has the quirk of half cold, half hot. Basically, he can produce flames and fire from his left side, and ice and cold from his right side. Basically, he is his parents have like one of his parents is Endeavor, who is the number 2 hero in this world, and he is basically like his quirk is Hellfire. Basically, a lot of fire is his quirk, so that's where Shoto gets his fire from, and his mother has an ice quirk, and that's where he gets the ice from. And so that's like he's like a very cool character. There's Bakugo, who has also joined the UA course, by the way. Bakugo and Deku, again, they have like a all-going rivalry throughout the show, which is like a great.
What's the Bakugo's quirk? Explain that.
It's explosion is his quirk, okay? And basically, his sweat glands produce like an explosive substance, which he can then ignite on command. Basically, that's my understanding of his quirk. And his costume is also really cool, where it basically looks like he has grenades on his hands, 2 massive grenades, which are like covering his hand. Which is damn cool. So yeah,
And he's very hot-headed.
He's super
like,
hot-headed in general also. Yeah, correct. He's like the
people
angriest
talk
person.
to him.
And hilarious, dude. He's always his snide remarks and like, don't talk to me, and like, listen to what I say. And like he's always angry. Even like in like the happy situation, always angry. But he is a character who grows a lot throughout the show. And basically you fall in love with him. You fall in love with all the characters, dude. It's great. There is also Deku's crush is Ochako-san. Uravity is her superhero name. And yeah, she has the quirk to make herself or anyone or anything she touches weightless, basically. So that she reduces gravity on that thing. Gravity's effect on that thing, basically. So like they just are floating in the air, right? And then you can like do different things with that quirk. It's a very cool. The use of how these quirks are used also and how they're shown is very smart and very they think about these things, dude, like a lot. And some very unique quirks. There's a guy who basically is able to produce paper, like toilet paper, from his elbows. This is a character, man, but he's treated as like a proper legit character. He's not like a joke character. So that's funny. There's a guy who there is a joke character also, basically, like which is Mineta, but then he also has his moments to shine. Mineta is the guy who has like tiny grape, like colored, like he's like purple colored.
Grape, you can say grape adhesive.
Yeah, grape adhesive, basically like little balls that get attached to his head. You can remove these balls, throw it at you, and so basically once it attaches to you, you can't deattach it. Whatever you do, it's impossible to deattach. Only he can basically deattach if he wants. So that is there. There's a guy who shoots electricity, Kaminari. There's a guy who becomes super hard. Basically his quirk is hardening. his name is I'm forgetting the name again. Kirishima, yeah, Eijiro Kirishima. The class monitor,
Captain.
the class captain is Tenya Ida, whose quirk is basically running fast. He's like a Flash in like a more anime way because he has jets, basically jet engines
He has
attached to the
jets
back
in
of
his legs.
calves. Yeah, in his calves, attached to his calves.
Yeah.
Which make him like run really, really fast. So again, cool to see that shit. So yeah, some really cool characters there. There's Momo Yayorozu, who has a quirk to produce anything she knows the composition of. She can make it from her body. She can like produce. So basically, if she wants a gun, she can just produce a gun from her body. Like by produce, like I mean from any part of her body. It doesn't have to be what you guys are thinking of. You dirty. But yeah, you can just she can produce anything from any part of her body, and it's pretty cool to see. So there are cool people, man. There's someone with a sound quirk. There's just a guy who with a massive tail, and that's his quirk. His quirk is tail. So, but he's like really. That's a weird one.
He's more into
Yeah.
martial art and tail.
Yeah, martial art and tails.
Correct.
Correct.
So, also there is a one guy who can who's very interesting though. I
shoot
found
lasers from his navel.
No, not
That's what I'm
that.
talking about. There's a guy who can shoot a laser from his navel, and that's his quirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The less speaking guy.
The
guy who
Meizu Shoji. He's the guy who who has like a lot of limbs. He can like, is it multi limbs or something? His
correct.
hero name is.
And all his limbs can like use different organs. Like one can be like
an ear, like an
eye.
eye. Yeah, correct, exactly.
So yeah.
Some really great characters.
So in all, it's the class story. The class characters are really great. Okay.
Yeah.
The teachers.
And they're a big part of the story.
Also, teachers are also hero. And they are teachers, like both.
They're
both
practicing heroes also with hero licenses.
Right, and these teachers are teaching these kids, class 1A and other classes, like how to be a hero, and how to like develop in different things. So that's the whole journey is about. Further, it gets more and more interesting because now we talked about the hero part.
And we have only reached like the first 4 episodes or something where we're introduced to the characters.
Yeah.
Like the entire story is left where we have heroes, then we have how the story progresses is like there are like classes, there are like things happening between classes. There's like a hero tournament, like a UA tournament, which is these UA students basically like fighting each other arena style, like and basically coming out, one comes on top of the other, whatever, and like that. Basically, the tournament thing in anime is like a very staple thing. It's like a very common way of showing power and like showing cool matches is the tournament arc in anime. So UA has multiple of them, and they're all great to see. And because once class 1A fights within itself, the next tournament is kind of between class 1A and class 1B. Okay, or like next training session also. Training sessions are like basically very well animated with fight sequences, and they basically act as tournaments as well. And so then there's class 1B and the characters from class 1B. One of my favorite people from class 1B is the guy who can copy other people's quirks, Nato Monoma. If he touches you, he can basically copy your quirk. So that's again a very cool power to have. Some cool characters in class 1B also, and they're always there's like a certain rivalry between class 1 and class 1B, about who is basically on top and who's better and performing better and stuff. It's pretty cool. So now getting back to the story. Izuku Midoriya has joined UA now, okay? But his body is not completely ready to use the quirk, okay? And every time he uses One for All. All for One is a different character. We will get to him also. That's why the confusion, guys. One for All. Every time Izuku uses One for All, he basically damages his own body. Okay, so like if he like uses One for All in his hand, he damages he loses the controller, like the use of his hand for the rest of the day or something, because he's like injured. His hand is injured. Same thing with the leg. Same thing with any part of the body. So he finds out like cool ways of implementing that, of basically getting around that. Basically, he uses like his fingers first. Like he basically flicks his fingers, and like every time he flicks the finger, it creates like a very powerful like
Force.
basically. Like I think it's the wind force or something, whatever it is. But it creates like a massive force. It's like how when a Hulk claps, it's kind of like that, like he flicks, and it's like kind of like that. So he finds like interesting ways of using his quirk because he can't completely control it yet. And then slowly he learns the ability to use like 20% of it and like 25% of it and like more and more and more and more and more. And so that's part of it. And so as he is growing, as the main character is growing, it's very interesting to see how the other characters are growing as well, because everyone is growing in that class, and they have very interesting relationships. Every character has like their moment to shine sometime or the other, and show off their cool moves or show off their teamwork or show off their heart or something. uh, yeah, so it's a very cool way of. So what My Hero Academia does also is it has like very unique takes on already existing shonen long form formula. In the sense, like becoming the greatest hero is basically the same thing as becoming the Hokage or becoming the greatest ninja, which is Naruto's aim, or becoming the Pirate King, which is Luffy's aim in One Piece. It's basically the same thing, right? It's the journey that gets you there and how they do it. So in this universe, power scaling works in the way that there is your main quirk, the amount of time you have to practice with that quirk, because the stronger you get. So you can see which characters are stronger than the other. All right, so let's talk about some of these villains, man. There are some great villains in the show, and we've already talked about some of the class 1A students, some of the teachers. Like the principal is like a tiny mouse. Is he a rat? Like a hamster or something? It's something somewhere in between there, I guess. Yeah, very cool character again. He has a cool quirk. Let's get talking about some of the villains though. And the villains, basically the main villain of this universe is, well, you guessed it, is All for One. He's a character who I've been confusing One for All. Basically, it's a confusing thing if you just go from that. But All for One is the baddest, most awesome character ever, dude. He has like basically like overpowered in a way where he can basically steal your quirk, right? So if you have the quirk, like the strongest quirk possible, okay, he can just steal your strongest quirk possible and make it his own. That's his quirk, basically. Okay. And how how One for All came to be is All for Ones had a brother like all years back. Okay, this is all shown very well. I'm sure we are going to not do it justice on this podcast, but this is all shown very well on the show. Uh, All for One had a brother who was also quirkless back years ago. Like I want to say, like 8 to 9 generations ago, basically. Uh, no, that's too many generations. That like about like a few generations ago, like 4 to 5 at least. It seems like okay.
Centuries ago.
Not centuries. No, can't be centuries. So basically, he had All for One had a brother who was also quirkless, but he was against All for One's cruelty against people. Okay, and One for All was basically a quirk that All for One punished onto his brother to basically give. I don't know what was the reason he gave him the quirk.
Like you mean All for One? Why All for One has given
One for All to his brother? Yeah.
Oh, even I'm like
I remember it was an act of cruelty in his mind.
It was an act of cruelty, but
yeah, when he wanted to like
his brother was kind of frustrated that you do all the evil things. There should be a person who can fight you back and be a symbol of justice, stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's how he used the quirk.
Yeah, so basically his brother then realized that the quirk is not just a quirk that you can pass down from person to person. It's a power building quirk. Okay. So each time the quirk is passed on, it somehow becomes stronger. Okay. It basically accumulates the strength of the previous owner and then adds it to the next owner's strength. So basically that's All for One. Okay. So he's like this guy who can steal all your quirks. There was All for One's brother who was a good guy, but by the time the story starts, he is dead for all we know by this point. And All for One has a mentee who he mentors. Okay, basically he's a mentor to a person named Shigaraki. Shigaraki has the quirk for decay. Okay, And anything he touches, he can basically make that thing decay. It can be a living thing, it can be an inanimate object, anything, but he can make that thing decay. And so that these are like the two big villains. Then there are other villains who are introduced later on in the show. Like there's a guy named Chisaki. Yeah, there's a guy named Chisaki who is the leader of the underworld, kind of this underworld gang, who are basically like the My Hero Academia equivalent of the Yakuza, kind of. And that guy has the quirk to basically deform and then reform things, like destroy things and then reform them in his own image, kind of, if he wants. So that's a very interesting quirk as well. And there's some other great characters. We've been talking about the characters for a while, it would seem. Like we'll talk about, I mean, this episode could go on forever. We have to talk about Mirio, one of the greatest characters on the show, who is a senior of theirs. So he's a very interesting character. We're talking about Mirio. We should talk about Mirio also, one of my favorite characters. So again, we've been introduced to so many characters.
Even Darby is a good character. He's a character who can he has a fake quirk at start. Okay. And his original quirk, I'm forgetting, but it's something very, very, very interesting.
No, Darby's quirk is fire flames. Who are you talking about?
Is it flames or is
It's
it
blue flames,
something
no?
else?
It's blue flames. His quirk is blue flames.
No, I think he has different quirk because as I remember, there's an episode where the class UA goes into some camping or some training.
Oh yeah, and
place.
Darby basically
And
kidnaps Bakugo, right?
Darby attacks. Yes, Darby attacks, and he and Eraserhead is in combat.
Yeah.
And then he uses his blue flame, but then he uses another quirk
Like
at the same
a
time.
transportation quirk? Was that like
Might be
a
all
teleporting? Because there's
possibilities.
this other guy. There's another character who has a teleportation quirk. If that's what you're talking
Could
about.
be all possibilities, but I feel Darby has some different quirks.
Okay, I'm not sure. I think Darby has only one quirk, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Okay, so this part we will look up and we will correct ourselves next week if we are wrong. But yeah, so Darby is another great villain that who has basically like a flame quirk, and you get to know a lot about him also later. There's some great, man. These story points are great. There's an arc where they go. I don't know how to describe these arcs, but there is an arc where they go into camping in the woods for a training exercise, and that training exercise becomes like some villains attack there, and it's always interesting. It's always on your toes. You're never going to be able to guess what's going to happen next for the most part. Some characters grow in very amazing ways. Like Endeavor's growth by the end of like the 4th season is amazing, dude. It's so great to see, and where he is right now in the story is just amazing. So yeah, like a lot of amazing characters.
Also, on a side note, if this series is kind of long for you, okay, so there are 2 movies that you can watch. Okay, now that you have now you have the context, or now at least you can understand what the story is about, what the concept is about.
Yeah.
Just watch these movies like My Hero Academia, 2 heroes, and there is another one, Hero Rising. Yes, 2 heroes, Hero Rising, and there is third one which is coming in 2021. So damn excited.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, the movie can give you a lot of depth to the story. Like what's the scene scenario, and you can like watch the series anytime you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's there, and
you can watch it on
it's
Netflix right now.
available.
Actually, yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's there, easily available on Netflix. People who want to like both the movie and the series, they can watch it. They can binge watch it, and it's a cool community that follows the show.
Yeah.
Like
and there are like so many YouTube channels and stuff, man.
I know.
Yeah,
and
who are like about theorizing about what's gonna happen next, and it's amazing, dude.
And very interesting theories. Some of the theories are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, love it.
Okay.
So fun.
What I loved about the movie, okay, 2 heroes.
Yeah.
As Antariksh told you that the Izuku Midoriya gets the quirk from
All Might.
From All Might. Yes, correct. In that movie, it's a spoiler alert, but you'll definitely enjoy this. His friend bully Bakugo gets that one for all quirk to himself.
Yeah.
And then he fights the villain. Both of them fights a villain, and it's like amazing. classic story.
Yeah, it's great, dude. All right, so I think we have covered quite a lot. I think though we butchered some parts of this, so maybe we'll do another episode and we'll go more into detail about this stuff because this is such a fascinating thing. And I want to do this more, man. I want to talk about just like particular series, anime series with you. So we should do that.
Definitely.
That's been this episode of My Hero Academia. There's one more part I wanted to address is so basically for listeners who are listening is there is supposedly supposed to be a traitor in UA, okay, and we don't know till date who that traitor is. There have been theories going around about who the traitor is, but I wanted to discuss with Sumit on air if I can. Sumit, who do you think that traitor is going to be? Who do you think the traitor is?
So mostly there are very, very interesting character, and there are some of them are quite dedicated towards the school or the hero, as in like the hero profession, you can say.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to guess though.
Yeah.
But I get the feeling he's not from school, I guess, but he's into he's also a hero. He's a number 3 hero actually, called Hawks. His
You think Hawks is the traitor?
I think Hawks is a traitor.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Fair enough. I think the principal is the traitor.
Why do you think so?
There are a lot of things, man, small things that happen in the show and in the manga also a little bit, where it lets me believe that he is the one, dude. He is the traitor. He is always aware where the students are, right? He is basically he knows All Might's schedule and shit also where All Might is. He is in. Nobody will really suspect him otherwise. And I don't see any of the students being like I don't want to say smart enough, but like either old enough to be villains in that regard, or like have that much of a background with villains that before the story started, they would have had to have been in contact with these people, and now so that they can give them some sort of information now or whatever the traitor is supposed to be doing. So I think it's the principal. Hawks is another great character though. He's number 3 hero. Number 1 being All Might, number 2 being Endeavor, and number 3 being Hawks, who has the power of flight. Basically, he has wings. He's like Angel from the X-Men. Only that he can shoot his arrows, and he can control each individual arrow with his mind. Okay, and his arrows are like very strong in the sense that they can carry tremendous weight. They can carry like people away from like to rescue them and stuff. It's very cool. Very cool power he has. But I don't think Hawks is the villain, but I think it's the principal. So we will see whenever we find out. It could be in a month, could be in a few years. That's how anime and manga go. All right, that brings us to the end of this half of IVM Likes, of this episode of IVM Likes on My Hero Academia. It was a lot of fun, Sumit, talking to you about this stuff, and hopefully we'll be able to do another episode about this stuff soon. Let's see you on the other side with some awesome recommendations.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood,
Get accustomed to womanhood.
enjoy the experience of sisterhood,
Might get to wifehood
or not, choose motherhood,
or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
earn a livelihood,
Change the neighborhood.
and get rid of the falsehood that life post academia is easy.
So join me, Ritasha,
And me, Ayushi,
on a journey from station starting point.
to station, what now?
Next station, Pudin station, and hopefully Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.
All right, and we are back with some recommendations. Sumit, buddy, what would you like to recommend?
So I'm watching a series. So it's a kind of a linked series with a good series called Breaking Bad. Okay, so it is linked with that series. Another series called Better Call Saul. Okay, so Better Call Saul is a story of a lawyer. Okay, the lawyer which in Breaking Bad, as you see,
Starring
the
Bob
lawyer,
Odenkirk.
Yeah, he consults the protagonist of Breaking Bad, So the whole show, Better Call Saul, is dedicated to the life of this lawyer, how he gets into law in law school and stuff like that, and how he ends up being a great great criminal lawyer, you can say. And it's amazing. It's going really well. I'm on the first season only. So I'm really watching it. So I'll definitely recommend that to people.
All right, cool. That's a Better Call Saul. And where can people watch that?
So it's there on Netflix, on all the major streaming platforms. So
Okay. All right, cool. Go check that out. I would like to recommend an Apple TV show called Ted Lasso, starring Jason Sudeikis. It's a show created by Bill Lawrence, who was also the creator of Scrubs. Scrubs is one of my other favorite TV shows ever. Just love Scrubs. It's something I throw on whenever I don't feel like watching anything else. Scrubs is awesome. So Bill Lawrence and Jason Sudeikis together created a show called Ted Lasso, which is about an American football coach of a college football team gets hired to coach us and manage a soccer team in the English Premier League, England. The team that he gets, he's supposed to be managing and coaching is Richmond. AFC Richmond is the football club, and it's a fictional club. But they make it seem like really cool. They don't really show much of the matches because the story is more about what happens off the field, and it's a lot of heart. There's a lot of football shown, but it's not going to be like some like movie level football or something, because all these people are still actors first. And but the story is so good and heartfelt and funny, and it's all around football. If you're a football guy, you will love this. If you're not, I am not actually into any sports, and I still love the show because I'm a huge Jason Sudeikis fan and Bill Lawrence fan. It's again one of the most heartfelt, touching shows I have seen in a while. And just go check it out, guys. It's on Apple TV, or you can find it wherever you want to find your shows through other means. That's on you guys. That's a moral dilemma that I struggle with often as well. But that's up to you. Ted Lasso, please watch it. I'm sure you will enjoy it, and let me know how you like it.
Is it better than Dhan Dhan Goal?
It is way better than Dhan Dhan Goal. Although, dude, that scene in Dhan Dhan Goal, which has now become like a thing in football movies and shows, is the scene where one character hits the ball on purpose on the top pole, right? And then he has to match it, hit it again to show like it wasn't a fluke, right? Yeah. So that also happens on this show. So there's one part where one of the characters hits the ball on the pole, and the other character is like, "Oh, cool, you can do that too," and he also hits the ball on the pole, and then they both have a competition on who can do it more consecutively. Yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, but yes, all in all, I would say it's better than Dhan Dhan Goal. Although they really don't show much on-field stuff on this show. It's all about the locker rooms. It's all about what happens, how they get these players and the people who are running this club, and the players on the team. But they're like more off the field, so they just show less of football compared to the movie Dhan Dhan Goal, which I would say has more football. But yeah, it's a good show. Check it out, guys. Ted Lasso. You can check it out on Apple TV. All right, thank you so much. That has been this episode of IVM Likes with Sumit Pande and myself, Antariksh Thakkar. Signing off. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.
Do you wonder why China does the things that it does? Or want to know how we could improve online privacy? Or perhaps you're thinking about how we can kickstart India's economy? If you'd like to search for the answers to such questions, check out All Things Policy, a daily public policy podcast that covers everything from employment figures to aircraft carriers. Tune in from Monday to Friday for new episodes and fresh takes.